Hi, in this video, I want to share about the energy of surrender and why it is so important in the energy of September for you to start magically pulling in that new reality that is waiting for you. Hi, my name is Tami and I'm a higher self alchemist. I help women in midlife who think, what the hell happened to their life, to shed the layers, stories, beliefs, and triggers that are preventing them from remembering who they've always been and the magical life they can create by being so. In this month of September, the theme is surrender. Surrender. I hear it constantly, surrender, surrender, surrender. But there's a lot of misconceptions around what surrender is, and I want to talk about that today. In our culture, surrender is seen as weak. It's seen as, waving the white flag, giving up something, losing something. And this energy of surrender that's in September is not that at all. It's about letting go of the old identity, letting go of control, which I know some people might have problems with. We are surrendering to the next level of who we are. We're saying to the universe, source, that we know we've done enough. We know we don't have to dig through anything anymore. We know we remember enough, know enough, we're worthy enough. All of those things, we know that we know that story of the old is over and that there's nothing else to change in the old. And that even by trying to change the old, we're not helping ourselves get to the new. And by surrendering, we're saying to the universe, I'm done. I'm done with the old. I'm done with the old identity. Show me how to bring this new energy in. And I'm surrendered to following the breadcrumbs. This takes a level of trust that I find many people struggle with because it's an unknown thing. We're surrendering to something that is unknown to us in this reality that you're in currently. So there's fear and anxiety of what that will look like. And we've been so conditioned to control, know the outcome, know where we're going, make sure that everyone feels safe for us to do this, make sure that I know enough, that I have all of my education in order, that I feel like I'm good enough, the world is ready for me, all of the things. And in that, we're trying to control the outcome. We're trying to even potentially bring things from the old into the new, and we can't do that. And this is where surrender comes in, when you just say, I'm done. I'm tired, or I believe that I have done enough to be able to break the signal of the old and fully anchor into the new. It's really important in this energy of September to do this and start to work with this. And it is not a one-time surrender. You will surrender potentially 10 times a day, 100 times a day. I hear it all the time, surrender, surrender, surrender. And it takes patience. It takes grit. Okay. You have to believe and are ready to let go of the old entirely. There's nothing else to fix. There's nothing else to heal. There's nothing else to remember, work out. Like, it is go time. And this surrender lets you do that. And it's really important for us to be here now with this, because the ego, the old self, is getting kind of tricky with this. It's been 9 months, potentially more, depending on when you started to work on this flip over between the old and the new. And it knows its end is near. It knows that the old is basically done. And it gets tricky here. It will start being your worst enemy without you knowing it. And what it does is, anytime you get really close to being like, I'm done, I'm jumping over the edge and I am floating into my future and fully anchoring that in, it will create drama in your life so that you focus on the old. An example of this, I was getting clients who were just like regurgitating the same things. We kept having work on the same things over and over and over again. And I was like, what is going on? Like, this is not normal. Like, why can you not let this go? Now, some of this is deeper stuff, but there was just a lot of fluff. And I started to hear it's because their ego is trying to distract them away from the authentic self. So it was creating stuff to work on. It was creating more healing that needs to be done, more emotional triggers, more stories, more drama in your life so that you would not be focused on surrendering to this new version of yourself, so that you would stay in the old and give it more of your energy so that you are keeping in that familiar. Your ego and your nervous system and mind are programmed to stay in the familiar. This authentic self that you're becoming is not familiar to it. You may know who that is because you have been able to tap into that in meditation, or maybe you have felt that version of you in other ways in your during your life. Like you've seen glimmers of that person. But your nervous system, mind, and your cells don't know that version yet, and it is unsafe. So your nervous system and your mind, your ego, as you get closer to this jump between this old and new, can get very loud, and it can create a lot of stories and a lot of drama so that you stay in the familiar and known and not make this jump to the new. It's not trying to sabotage you because it's mean. Its job has always been to keep you safe. So that's what it's doing. So as you get closer and closer to that, it can become louder and louder and louder. And you have to be really good about recognizing if that is because like all this spin that you're having is just your nervous system and your mind, your ego creating this drama and energy so that you don't flip to the new. And when you recognize this, it just pulls the plug. It's very interesting. It's like you've caught it red-handed and it just stops. This could be the thoughts running through your head, the emotions that are coming up. Maybe your emotions are all over the place. And these are all familiar states that your nervous system, ego and mind have used to keep you safe in the past. So as you start to make this jump to the authentic self, it employs all of those emotions, all of those stories, all of the thought forms so that you don't change. But you have to start catching it in its act so that you don't get pulled into that and have this like stuck energy where you feel like you're not going anywhere, like you're doing all the things, but nothing's working. Well, can be because your nervous system, ego are trying to keep you in the familiar, safe. And when you say, oh, I know what that is, it stops. I find that the brain talk stops, the stories stop, the drama kind of melts away because it was just a distraction so that you wouldn't change. Your nervous system potentially doesn't feel change is safe. Maybe change has brought you a lot of bad things in the past, or even stories that your parents or society have told you about change. So now your nervous system doesn't see that as safe, and even your mind as well doesn't see it as safe. So it will do everything in its power to prevent you from changing, and that includes making your life hell with the stories and the drama, manifesting everything you don't want. I'm seeing this in clients. It's not a theory. I'm literally seeing this, and I saw it in my own life for a period of time until I started to recognize what it was, and it was my ego just freaking playing with me. Ego has purpose. This is not about drowning your ego into non-existence. That is not the case. Your ego has purpose. It has kept you safe for however many years you have lived in this body during this life. So there's gratitude for that. And it does have a place in your new reality, but instead of it being in the driver's seat, it's either in the back seat or even better in the trunk, which means it has a very small purpose and your authentic self is driving instead of this ego and safe version. So as we move into the energy of September, we really have to be aware of that And instead of trying to fight that, because there's this thing again where, it creates all that and then we want to fight it. And we end up with this battle between inside of ourselves where we'll get bigger glimpses of our new and then the old will come screaming back. And we have this like inner war happening. And the only way out of that is really surrender. It wants the fight. It wants the fight. It lives on that energy. That is how it has existed this whole lifetime. So when you try to fight it, you are making the old stronger. You have to be able to meet it at a place of love and gratitude and forgiveness and surrender. And in surrender, you say, I don't have to fight you anymore. I love you. And I'm grateful for all you've done for me, but I'm ready for new. And you surrender to source, or you surrender to your authentic self, whichever one feels more comfortable to you. If it's easier to surrender to your authentic self, then do that. Your authentic self is not separate from source, but if that's what feels more comfortable to you, then do that. And the more you do that, you will start to see less of fight from this ego and your nervous system, because your nervous system will start to program to this new, to start to see it as safe. Some of the work that I do is I help your nervous system release those patterns and then do downloads so that your nervous system actually already sees that authentic self as safe. So there's less of this fight, as an example of what I do in sessions. And the act of surrender can really, really shut this down very fast. But again, I find many people have problems with surrender because surrender means giving up control. And yes, that is true. You cannot control this. You cannot control the outcome in this shift from the new to the old, specifically on how it happens and when it happens. We have been programmed to be constantly focused on that, and that is your ego trying to keep you stuck. This authentic self knows how and when. So there's nothing to figure out. All we have to do is surrender to that part, and then it will start to happen because your authentic self has the map. So we need to really see what we're trying to control, what we aren't willing to let go of. This transition from this old to new is an identity change. And identity is deeply rooted in our nervous system, our mind, our cellular memory. And not that it has to be hard to do it, but it can be tricky because it will fight for that. That's what's safe. And when we surrender, we're telling our nervous system it's safe. We're telling our nervous system that it's safe to change, that it's safe for this authentic self to come in, to drive. It's safe to explore something new. It's safe to break the habits that haven't been serving you for months, years, decades. It's safe to break away from relationships, jobs, businesses that aren't working for you anymore, and to let them go. It's safe to let go of the emotional attachment to money, to our homes, our cars, whatever it is. And knowing that our authentic self has a vision of our reality where it will pale in comparison to what we have now. Your authentic self has your highest and best good in mind. It's not looking to hurt you. It's looking for you to remember the truth that you are abundance, that you are love, that you're freedom, that you're success, all the things. It knows how to get you to be able to live that as your lived experience every day. But this need to drag some of these old pieces into this new is tough. And it can definitely come in like it came in for family for me. I was shown that my family is part of my identity. Of course it is. And I had to let go of needing to control the outcome on the outside of what that looks like. It takes courage. It does. It takes, like I said, that grit. But the more you surrender, you'll start to see the sweetness on the other side, and surrender becomes easier. It's a practice thing. I'm just looking at my notes. And one of the things that you can do to start practicing this surrender piece, which I will give you in a moment, is for you to redefine it. What is surrendered to you? Is it really weakness? Is it something that feels unsafe to you? Is it something that you have a negative idea around, or is it something positive? Just reflecting on that word is an act of surrender, because you are asking your guides and source to help you put surrender back in its box so you can truly understand the gift that it is, instead of what society has made it out to be thus far. If you're having problems with surrender, or maybe you need help with redefining it and you have questions about surrender, drop them in the comments below. I would love to help. This is really important. The more of us who surrender, the closer we get to that tipping point and building this new collective of souls who are ready to move into the new fully. And they're not trying to drag anything from the old into the new. How can you do this? Now, as you go through your day and you have moments, you can ask however you use your intuition, muscle testing, or whatever way you do it, and ask, is this because my ego is just creating drama so that I don't move to the new? And if you find that's true, you just say, I surrender. In that moment, surrender and let it go. The bigger way to practice this is to spend minimum 2 minutes in complete stillness. No thinking, no doing, just being in the moment. Your authentic self does not exist in the future. They do not exist in the past. They only exist in this now moment. And for you to be able to start to get insights on how your authentic self wants you to be, or what breadcrumbs they want you to follow, you have to be able to be in this state and frequency in order to get that information, which is only in that now moment. And in that now moment, you are surrendering to that part of yourself. Some of you may be able to do this for longer, and some of you may not. If you can only do 2 minutes, that is fine. Work your way up to 5, then work your way up to 10, with a goal of staying in silence for like 20 minutes is really where the goalpost is. And every time your mind drifts, it will, it's human nature. You bring yourself to your back with your breath, coming back to your breathing. Your breathing only happens in the now moment. It's not a future or past thing. It is here and now. So anytime your brain, you wander away, you bring yourself back with breath. And every time you do that, you say, I surrender to my authentic self. So in this 2-minute time period, you would sit at someplace comfortable where you're not going to be interrupted, and you connect to your breath, and you say to yourself, I surrender to my authentic self. And just let yourself be in that present. No thoughts, no doing, no nothing, just silence. If you need to use some type of background sound without any lyrics or words, just like a solfeggio frequency, that is fine. Some of us need that to help with like training wheels. Eventually you won't need those either. It's okay to use them in the beginning. Anytime your mind wanders, you have an emotion that doesn't feel good, I surrender to my authentic self and come back to your breath. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Once 2 minutes is over, if that's enough, if it was hard, just let it go. Forgive yourself. There's not perfection here. You are remembering how to do this. This is part of your nature that has been forgotten. Once 2 minutes feels great, maybe you move to 3 minutes, maybe 5, depending on how you feel. That's up to you as to how you do that. Once you get to 5, you do 10. And once you get to 10, you go to maybe 15 or 20. There will be days where you don't have 20 minutes to sit in silence. And yes, you should be doing this daily. You can do it before bed, in the morning, in the middle of the day. It does not matter. But it's really important for you to take that time to spend in the energy and the frequency of your authentic self so that you're tuning your life to her or him or they, so that you can get the signals and messaging so that you can do the things that that part of you wants you to start doing to start to rearrange your life around that version. If you short on time and you can't do something daily, spend 2 minutes, 5 minutes, as long as you're doing it every day, and maybe 20 minutes once a week, once you get there. The more time you spend there, the more insight you're going to get into who this is, how this person operates in this world, what you should or shouldn't be doing. You'll get those signs, you'll get the messaging that you're looking for, but you have to spend that time. If you don't, what happens is people say, oh, I don't ever get messages from my higher self. And it's because when you're always thinking and always doing and always running around and getting everything done, it's like you have a metal plate over the top of your head. And all of those messages are just hitting on that top of your head and it can't get through. You can't hear them through the noise. And the part of being in this stillness is allow yourself to be able to hear the messaging, to put yourself in that state of receiving so that you can actually start to get the input that you're looking for. And this is a great practice in surrender. So play with that. Let me know in the comments how that works out for you. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.